Now let's get into this mess. Let's talk about Timothée Chalamet, or whatever Doja Cat called him, because Mr. Chalamet is sticking his mouth in regards of all the stuff that's going on with him. And we got a ton of clips because I don't know if y'all seen it. Well, we'll get into it. So anyway, he ended up. So here's the weird part about this. So this story came out in February where he did an interview. I think it was in joint with Variety and CNN. And so he did an interview with Matthew McConaughey. I'm like, was it an actors on actors? Because that's the only time I noticed that celebrities kind of interview each other as if it was an actors on actors situation. But apparently, I don't think it was. So he sat down with greasy ass looking Matthew McConaughey, and he asked him a ton of damn questions about a bunch of other things. And so now everybody's up in arms because apparently Timothée Chalamet wound up throwing shade at the opera and ballet community because he basically said in so many words, nobody cares about opera or ballet. But before I get to it, because too many people have been showing a certain clip, what I decided to do was go to the horse's mouth, and that is go over to the YouTube to pull up the video so that way we can hear the entire conversation in full. Because I like to give context over here. I don't want to sit and rage bait, even though I do have my opinions with Timothée. You did stick your foot in your mouth over this situation. So we're gonna play this clip, and if you don't come back, well, hold on. Let me adjust the playback speed. So what should I do? Let's do one. No, let's do 1.25, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
In this day of shorter attention spans and vertical 12-second spots, are we losing attention and patience for act ones? Because it's the first thing that gets cut. It's the first thing that a studio wants to get. I'm seeing act 2 more and more start on freaking page 12. I'm seeing series that 10-part series that, bam, act 1's over 32 minutes into the opening episode, and you're off on the conflict right away. And I'm going, it feels abbreviated to me. Am I feeling something?
I think you are, but I think I've observed like a duo phenomena where the majority of stuff is getting pushed in that direction. I think I saw an article about a Netflix sort of production guideline, not for all movies, I don't want to speak disparagingly, but where they want their biggest action set pieces up front. The logic used to be you save your big action set piece for the end of a movie, and you save the fireworks for the end, but now they want something up front. I also think there's sort of a reverse thing going on too now. I don't want to speak for people that are younger than me, where people are desiring things that are more patient and that pull you in. I just saw another article that says Gen Z is a bigger movie-going audience than the millennial audience, you know? I feel like a fucking grandpa saying that. And, no, but point being, I think even like Frankenstein, which is like a hugely popular movie this year, I didn't think that pacing was extraordinarily fast or anything, but it pulled people in, you know? But it does take you having to wave a flag of, hey, this is a serious movie or something. And some people want to be entertained and quickly. I'm really right in the middle, Matthew, because I admire people, and I've done it myself. You want to talk to them about, hey, we got to keep movie theaters alive. You know, we got to keep this genre alive. And another part of me feels like if people want to see it, like Barbie, like Oppenheimer, they're going to go see it and go out of their way to be loud and proud about it. And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, you know, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. But I just took shots for no reason.
That's not a shot. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. So.
Okay, so basically that's what it all stemmed from, that he was talking about basically how the movie industry is probably going to become obsolete because when you have the pressures of the streaming services coming in and saying that we want our action piece, our big action setup in the beginning of the film instead of letting your movie breathe, telling a story, because I was hearing Netflix was doing that. I even think that Matt Damon recently came out and said something regarding that in regards of the movie, what was it called? The Rift, where they were talking about that, they were getting notes from Netflix was like, in the beginning, they want a big action set piece to bring people in. But I feel like if you're going to tell a story, people are going to go see it based off of how you tell the story. You shouldn't have to force people to tell a story the way you want it told. Just let people go in. But I don't understand why The Stray came from the ballet and the opera community. But here's the thing. What people don't realize is this, because I found this clip. This ain't the first time that Timothée Chalamet had a beef with the opera and the ballet, because he said this over here on Graham Norton's show. Please hold for that clip.
I love movies. I love acting. I love going to movies. I was kind of getting scared when I was younger that maybe it was becoming like opera or something, like an outdated art form or something.
So there he goes again. I don't know how old that video is, but he keeps thinking like opera and ballet is sort of like become outdated. And here's the thing: when we look at stuff like opera and ballet and those things, that is a genre that has been around long before movies. Movies is relatively 100 years old because it came out like what, the 1920s is when we started seeing the gold, like cinema actually appearing on screen or whatever the case is. Opera and ballet has been around a long time. And to me, when you look at things like opera and ballet, it is very much a specific group of people are afforded the opportunity to go see those type of genres of shows. Luckily for me, and I don't know, I know a lot of people haven't been afforded this situation, but I have had the opportunity of going to see ballet, and I've gone to Lincoln Center, and I've gone to see operas and things at the Met and things of that nature. So I've been lucky in my lifetime that I've been able to go see those things. But the tickets ain't cheap. Now, also, I just think that maybe the conversation really should be drawn to. I think it was a case of right message, wrong messenger when it comes to Timothy, because the way people look at him is the fact that, oh, here's this spoiled, privileged brat that's coming around saying stuff and throwing shade at the opera and the ballet community. When I don't know if people know this, but his mother and his sister were ballet dancers. They studied ballet. He comes from a family of artists. So, on one hand, I got what he was saying because I feel like maybe he knows something that we don't because he's grown up in that world where he's seen what his mother and his sister has gone through, the overall pressures that ballet dancers have had to endure, especially when you have to keep a certain diet, the type of discipline that you have with those things, and probably realizes that yes, only that it's a very elitist genre that only a certain people are afforded to go see those things. I was just reading another article where people are outraged because the Met just did a deal, the Metropolitan Opera, not the Met Gala, but the Metropolitan Opera just did a deal where they're trying to get bailed out of some debts or whatever, and they kind of done a deal with Saudi Arabia, which is kind of like the same argument that people are talking about when it comes to um, Saudi Arabia money, where David Ellison went over to Saudi Arabia to get some of them to come in and foot the bill for them to get this deal with Warner Brothers. So now we're going on to these outside conglomerates like Saudi Arabia or whatever to help bail us out of our debts, which I know the community is pissed off about that because that's what the Metropolitan Opera is currently doing. So there may be some truth to what Timothy has said in this situation. I just think the problem is the tone, the way he presents himself as of late, and he's come across as sort of like this elitist, pompous, uppity asshole. And I think that's probably why people aren't ready to receive this from him. Because, it seemed like to me that every year, because the Oscars is kind of like this little solid whatever, whatever. But I feel like we become this situation where every year we've got to have a villain for the Oscars. Last year it was Carla Sofia Gascon with that penis and vagina movie that she did for Netflix, where they was trying to prop her up to win an Oscar. And then there was some old stuff they found out that she said in the past on social media, and they were throwing her under the bus and saying that against her, and she couldn't even appear at a certain award shows because the past came back to haunt her. Now you're doing the same thing with Timothy, where it's like y'all were loving him for a minute. Y'all, he was the golden boy. He was the guy that was to be up the upfront, the sure shoe in to win the Oscar. And here's the funny thing, where I feel like maybe there might be some self-sabotage. I don't know if it's self-sabotage on his part. Y'all can tell me if you think it is in the comments, or it was the industry sabotaging him because of the promotion behind Marty Supreme and all that other stuff, him fucking a Jenner. That's another thing that the people in this industry don't particularly like, that the Kardashian Jenner family has infiltrated the movie space by Timothée Chalamet being dating one of the Jenners. Because they did say that there was a Rob Shutter interview of his story that I saw weeks ago that I didn't bring up because I was like, this is a nothing burger for now, but it's in the back pocket. It's in the file cabinet right up in here. And basically was saying that because of his association with Kylie, that is affecting his chances of getting the Oscar, which is why, if you've seen as of late, the BAFTA, he didn't win that. I believe it was the guy that did the Tourette's movie, won the BAFTA for Best Actor, which of course that's the British award. So that's the only thing that guy got nominated for. That an American market didn't even touch that film. And then we didn't know about it until the drama that happened with the BAFTAs, which we don't need to rehash. We've rehashed it enough. And then when it came to the Actor Awards, which I fucking hate that title, but apparently Netflix came up with that stupid name because the SAG Awards airs on Netflix. So now when it comes to the Actor Awards, now it's gone to Michael B. Jordan, which some people thought, oh, it's going to be between Leo and Timothée Chalamet, but Timothée Chalamet was the front runner. And then people were sitting there saying, but I was like, no, I was looking at Michael B. Jordan, but maybe it's because I'm a man of color and everybody else don't really see it for him. But him recently winning, I never saw Leonardo DiCaprio as having a chance. I thought that if it wasn't going to be Timothée Chalamet, it would actually go to Michael B. Jordan because of the smokestack twins that he portrayed those characters and the nuance behind Sinners. So I think that he does have a chance. And I know people are saying, well, will this affect his ability to win the Oscar? And I'm like, I don't think what he said has anything to do with that. I think it might be a plethora of other things prior to, because what people need to realize, before that video went viral and started resurfacing, it was out long before the voting was open for the Oscars. The day after, I think it was the day after the voting closed for the Oscars, is when this whole Timothée Chalamet commentary regarding what he said about the ballet and the opera community blew up. Also, so yeah, so I think those are many factors we need to think about, is the fact that opera tickets are hella expensive. Ballet tickets are hella expensive. I wish the more people could go and see those type of programs, but the tickets are crazy. Also, let's talk about Broadway. Now, as somebody who lives in New York City and has been to many a Broadway show, and I have parents that still go to Broadway shows. Shout out to my parents. They still go to Broadway shows and all those other stuff. Because, like I said, as I've been lucky and privileged to come from a family that can afford situations such as that. And then me, of course, when I've gone with friends who are real big Broadway fans, we go down to the TKTS spot in the middle of Times Square, and you can find reasonable prices on tickets. I don't do all the online stuff. I go down to the booth in the middle of Times Square. I'm like, what kind of shows y'all got? What's the price? And we found some. And my friend and I, Joe, was a big Broadway fan. We'll find reasonably priced tickets and go see a show on a regular day or whatever the case is, and go see whatever show we want to see. So there's ways of being able to see Broadway shows, but we can't sit up here and say that Broadway tickets are not still becoming increasingly expensive. And what Timothy needs to realize is that he's lucky to be still be a part of a genre of art that people can actually still afford. Because yes, while we complain about ticket prices or uh concession prices and all that other stuff, and don't get me wrong, I have AMC A-list. So for $27 a month, I can go see as many movies as I want. So luckily for now, I'm still able to go see as many movies as I possibly could at a good price. And all I got to do is either sneak food in the theater, you ain't hear that from me, or basically use go and get concession. But even the concession is like ridiculously expensive. And I know that's how they make their money, but he should just be lucky enough to realize that you're still in a genre where you can afford to do all the things that you want to do. Now, I want to get into what the people had to say in regard, because he did say at the end, he probably shouldn't have said what he said and lost 14 cents in viewership. So now Jamie Lee Curtis, I saw the View went in on his ass too earlier. I didn't watch the clip, but the View went in on him. Jamie Lee Curtis reposted an Instagram reel from creator Zach McNally where he criticized Timothy's stance. And Jamie Lee also reposted several ballet videos, seemingly to show her support for the medium. Laura Benanti said he's going to be singing a different tune when the live arts are all that's left after AI takes over. Oh, wait, he's above singing a tune. And then we have Isabel Narney, who is an opera singer and Grammy winner, and said, honestly, I'm shocked that someone so seemingly successful could be so ineloquent and narrow-minded in his views about art while considering himself as, well, I think she meant an artist as I would only imagine one would as an actor. To take a cheap shot at fellow artists says more in this interview than anything else he could say, shows a lot about his character. You don't have to like all art, but only a weak person / art feels the need to diminish, in fact, the very arts that would inspire those who are interested in slowing down to do exactly that. And then we have um, Cameron and Saunders, who's a dancer known for his work in Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, basically just replied with a yikes. Then we got King Princess, who's a musician, who said boo. Then we got Eva Noblezada, who was a Broadway star, basically posted a bunch of tomatoes. And then we have the Met Opera, who basically came in with their own opinion on the matter. Hold on a second, because I hate when videos just reboot itself if I don't get to it long enough. But anyway, let's get to that situation so that way y'all could see that video if you missed it. And then we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold. Okay, so there's that. And then last but certainly not least, before we get up off this, wait, let me see if there was any more comments regarding the people. Oh yeah, so Sarah Hyland put a bunch of hand applause emojis. Also, Ashley Graham and Jordan Fisher, they jumped in on the situation. And then last but certainly not least, there's a dancer and choreographer by the name of Amar Smalls who posted this video, which I think definitely drives this whole story home. So we're going to get in, we're going to play this clip, and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold one more again.
See it like Barbie, like Oppenheimer. They're going to go see it and go out of their way to be loud and proud about it. And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, you know, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore.
People still care about ballet and opera. It's just that the tickets for ballet and opera are just mad expensive. And they are mad expensive because it's high art. So a lot of people still care about it. Tickets for the movies that Timothée is in are cheap compared to Porgy and Bess and Swan Lake. And considering it's a high art, people come in their best outfits to come and see ballet. Ain't nobody dressing up to go and see Wonka. It's equivalent to taking your girl on a date to Nobu or McDonald's. Ain't nobody putting on their best fit to go to McDonald's. Also, while we're here, let's talk about how you used Black culture and you dressed up as Soulja Boy in 2006 to promote Marty Supreme. If we really want to take shots, we could really take shots. Also, we have to realize that, bro, when AI takes over or whatever, bro, AI can't go on stage and give a beautiful performance like Swan Lake. They could definitely do Marty Supreme, though. I think in the next coming years, that perception of people not caring about ballet and opera will definitely change. Definitely change, and I'll make sure of it.
If people want to.
So yeah, so I think that's all that need to be said. But I just feel like, you know what? I got what he was saying. I understand, like, and I feel like what he should have driven home with the article is to basically state that based off of your background of having a mother and a sister who have a background in ballet, you understand that world. That should have been the way you cleaned it up. But I just think that the problem with Timothée is that, you know, there's so many of these A-list celebrities walk around with this self-importance and this I know it all type energy and attitude, and then you have people like Matthew McConaughey sitting there agreeing because they don't know how to check you on what you said. Like, I got what you said. It's like, well, what you said was some bullshit. Now, while you made amazing points, which is all the things that I pointed out regarding the outpricing of people who want to be able to see ballet and opera and theater, you know, Broadway and those things. And that's why it seemed like the elites have more access to that than regular people. And it's becoming more apparent that the people at the top are being able to luxuriate and be able to accommodate all the different things that us regular people can't afford to do. then that's where the conversation should have went. But I like the fact that there's a lot of people out here who are having their discourses. I'm giving my discourse on that situation, and I do feel like probably because Timothy has been kind of a little arrogant, and people feel like he needs to have a not even a slice, have the entire humble pie, eat the shit in one sitting, and bring him back down to earth. But this is all the things that go along with a lot of celebrities. We get it that you're being propped up as Gen Z's equivalent of Daniel Day-Lewis or Leonardo DiCaprio, but you really have to put in the work to get to that point and stop trying to tell everybody how great you are because you're trying to be the LeBron of acting. And it's like, we'll see it if you kind of just show it, don't tell it, because that's like acting 101, show don't tell. So if you got to bring it to that, and it's like you show that we see the work you're putting in, and I've heard that he's like this is the best work of his entire career in Marty Supreme. Some people said that he ain't even really acting, that he might be playing himself in that damn movie, but nevertheless, Timothy, learn how to try to just keep your foot out your damn mouth because you just been making it bad on yourself. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Timothée Chalamet had to say? I'll poet if I know it about the ballet. Okay. Now, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.